Hey guys, today we're going to be unboxing this box here. Please forgive its appearance. It's not the box's fault. It just gets taken advantage of a lot. But it's here and we're going to unbox it because there are some minis inside. As always, I want to start out just briefly thanking all of my patrons and YouTube members. Without your financial support, all of my independent coverage that I'm able to do on this channel would not be possible, so thank you for that. All of the high quality lighting, the video in 4K, all of that is because of you, so thank you. Even if you're not one of those members, if you're pausing that ad blocker, or liking the video, or commenting, or subscribing, all of that appeases the AI gods over on YouTube, and it is greatly appreciated. Additionally, I just want to point out that there is a merch store link down below, as well as some other fun links that you can check out, as well as links to whatever is inside here. So, let's get to it. Okay, alright, so let's try and open this up and not ruin whatever the heck is inside of here. My goodness. This poor box. This is like what happens when your recycled cardboard is recycled and made into a box for like the third time in a row. It just starts to give up, I feel. But what it lacks in cardboard strength, it has in tape. So let's get through that. Okay. All right, I think we're good here. All right, what do we have here? Oh, look at this. The Elder Scrolls Call to Arms. A little squished here, but nothing too bad. These are going to be on sprues, and therefore they're going to be just fine in here. So this is the plastic Stormcloak faction. Comes with three Stormcloak soldiers with great swords, and then Rayloff and Yasirold, the thrice-pierced. Wow, I'm butchering those names. However, you get 5 minis just in this little pack here, so that's kind of cool. And then we have the Bleak Falls Borrow Delve set. These are some cool looking enemies. So looks like this one comes with 8 different miniatures. We'll get a look at all these, so don't worry about that. Then we have the plastic Imperial Faction. Again, a little crushed box, but that's all right. Ah, look at that. We got a magic user. These are well painted, by the way. I'm impressed with that. This is the Imperial Faction that we're all so used to. And then the actual tabletop battles in the world of Tamriel, Elder Scrolls Call to Arms, core rules. This has your rule books, it has the dice, the tokens, and the cards that you need. 5 hero cards, 13 followers and adversary cards, 6 faction reference cards, more than 200 quests, events, traps, items, and spell cards, 1 white skull dice, 3 green dice, 2 die-cut counter sheets, 104-page complete core rulebook, 104 pages, wow. The quest book with 12 missions, an escape from Halligan quick start guide, and miniatures available separately, which is what we have here. So what I will say here is that this was kind of, I don't believe I reviewed it, but they started out doing a Fallout Wasteland Warfare. That's it in the box. I'm going to move this. Get away. Did the Fallout Wasteland Warfare and really enjoyed it. It is as close as you can get to Fallout in a board game as possible. It had everything. You could play PvP, you could play, so like a skirmish game, you could play co-op, you could do story-based, you could do scenarios, you could do settlements, campaigns, one-offs, you name it, that game supported it, and it was actually quite a lot of fun. So I'm excited to get into this as well. Maybe because as much as I like Fallout, I really appreciate some fantasy miniatures as well, and it looks like we got plenty of those. So let's go ahead and start here and end on the miniatures. This is side off camera, out of sight, out of mind. All right. Now what I really need, the Red Rocket set for Fallout was amazing. It was very well done. It had a wonderful a neoprene mat that you could play on, which was awesome. And then it had the 3D terrain, which was awesome. And I really, really appreciated that. So we need to get some of that in here as well, I think. All right, so let's go and open this up. And we have little tiny, your first steps into the world of Tamriel. I want to say this is probably the quick start guide. So Fallout did this as well. Modiphius does a great job with this. Essentially, you play through this, and it's normally a solo thing, at least it was in Fallout Wasteland Warfare, and you learn the game kind of naturally through play. Which I thought was very good. It kind of played like a tutorial of a Fallout. Like you got your little BB gun or pistol and you were shooting, little rats and targets and stuff like that. It works really, really well. And so here you can see you're just kind of learning about the statistics, making an attack. Here's some target practice. See, that's kind of what I'm talking about there, where you just get used to rolling dice and what each thing means. I got some really nice art here. I really appreciate that. Full color. And I will say also, looks like we got some definitions. These like call out boxes and colors, and it looks like it's well laid out. So I'm happy with that. And again, it's nice to not get a slog of rules right away. And we have the quests here. On the back here, it looks like it's just showing you some of the stuff. Just got that, so we're good there. And then some quests. I don't want to spoil too much. So let's go ahead into the front here and see what we have at the very beginning. Content. So we have setting forth. Here's some scenarios, quests, other quests, deploy parties, scenarios, special rules, victory conditions. Okay. So we have battle mode scenarios. Battle mode, I'm assuming, is like the skirmish mode, that is near and dear to my heart. So we have ancient ruins, the land is ours, ambush, lost treasure, light up the night, and Sovngrad calls. Again, I'm Garde, probably. Who knows? Whatever. You got 6 of them. You have the Blood and Snow campaign on page 22. And then that goes to 22 to 26. And then we get the delve mode scenarios. Adversary forces, delve mode, turn sequence, random scenarios. I think this is the co-op, I would assume, perhaps, but we'll see. And then the Black Falls Borrow adventure on page 40. So a lot of stuff here by the looks of it. So you got scenarios where you get to choose your party. There's dungeon, wilderness, and settlement versions. You get to do all this kind of interesting stuff by the looks of it. And then battle mode scenarios. So yeah, anyway, looks like there's multiple stuff you can do there. That looks cool. And finally, looks to be actually fairly well bound. That is a solid glue right there, which is nice. Here's the rule book. Nice, clean, like this cut there. I think it looks fairly nice. There's a little bit of a ding here, a little bit of a ding here. I don't know if you noticed or not, but over here, there was a little bit of a bend there and a little bit of a ding here. And the reason that is because when you put it in a box like this, and there's no like plastic divider or cardboard or anything like that, so this is just going to slide around. It's going to just, bang up and do a whole bunch of stuff there. But is what it is. It's still nice. I'm not too complaining about it here. A lot of times you'll see some like scratches on here, and this is actually not the case on that, which is kind of nice. So first thing you look in a rule book is for an index. So let's see if they have an index. With 100+ pages, I'm hoping there's an index that I can reference to quickly find what it is I'm looking for. So we have a appendix quick reference guide, which is not the same. And the reason it's not the same is because an index is an alphabetical. Here we go. Here, see? Perfect. This is what we need. So here's an index. What's great about this is alphabetical order. It's not based off headers, and it lists every single page that it might be mentioned on. So sometimes there's like an example on page 11, and on page 22 there's a deep dive on it, and then it's mentioned in regards to another rule on page 37 or whatever, and it'll list all 3 of those, which is nice. It looks like here they actually have sub one, so there's an event card, and then there's an incident event card, and a radiant quest event card, and spawn adversaries event card. That's kind of interesting. It's fine as long as you know that's the case. You can look it up just fine. So that you might actually just try to see spawn adversaries, not seeing the S, go to event cards, and then you'll be able to find it. But an index is super useful. So the quick reference here looks like they're showing some icons. Speaking of icons, looks like they have icons here. I can already tell this is a very well laid out rule book when it comes to at least usability during a game. So first it's got to teach you the rules, but then once you're playing the game and you go, I got to look that up real quick, you're going to be going right here. If you're not, it takes 10 minutes just to look up a rule. Okay, where was that? Where I think it was on the left hand side. You don't want to do that. So this is huge. So props to Modiphius for that. That looks great. Looks like you kind of have another token appendix as well. So you have all these kind of useful pages in the back, and then you have a ton of rules. It doesn't like there's a lot of examples that I'm seeing, at least when it comes to, I mean, maybe we'll get there, like movement example or line of sight example. A lot of times you'll see that, so I'm not sure. Gaps, passable terrain. So a lot of times you'll see, okay, here we go. Yeah, see, so they have it where it's needed. We can just kind of see a visual example of it. So that's good to see. Yeah, you know, I'm happy with this. This looks very well done. It looks like it has a ton of info in here. And again, it's not that you need this whole rulebook for each, it's for all the modes, right? And there's quite a few. So if you're just want to do a skirmish game, I'm sure you don't have to read quite all of that. All right, next, cardboard quality. Do the punch out, and as you can see, oh, I'm punching out 2. All right, hold on, that's not fair then. Let's punch out 1. So that tag still hits. So definitely kind of taggy, not the best perforation I have seen, so you get that little kind of fluffy tag bit there. You can trim that up if it matters that much to you. I just try and kind of see how it punches out. And it looks like they're all pretty much going to be like that. So they're all just going to kind of hang there. The one thing you worry about is that when you pull it off, it's going to like strip peel the actual image off. It's kind of always the worry you have. So I'm going to do a few of these small ones here. Looks about the same. It's all right. Now, looking at these little ones, by the way, are always hard to pick up. I appreciate that they're little when I'm playing with them, but pros and cons, right? So they're a little small too. So when you look at it, you'll see that there are layers here, but it's not terrible. This actually feels quite smooth. It doesn't feel like I'm gonna like be roughing it up too much. I'm okay with these. Now, here is something I really appreciate. Really, I can see it right now, and I'm already happy about it. Look at this. Look at that. This actually does not cost a whole lot for them to do, but you'd be amazed how many companies don't think about your storage solution, only their shipping thing. So they'll put these in here because they have to ship it, right? But they won't give you any space for them, or they won't give you any bags for them, nothing. As far as they're concerned, after they ship it, they don't care what you do with it. It's up to you. It's your problem, not theirs. So when a company thinks about the consumer's storage solution, I instantly am happy about that. So props to Modifius for that. I will be using those to store this. And because of that, this is not resealable, but they gave me plastic bags, so that's fine. Let's take a look at the dice here. Now, interesting to note, all right, get rid of that. All right, first of all, the colors are great as a slightly colorblind person. I appreciate the darker red, and I appreciate the difference between the red and the yellow or orange or whatever you want to call this one. Either way, they're very different, and I can see them easily separated, which is nice. One thing to note on all of these dice except this one is that they are barely rounded at all. So let me go ahead and show you a little closer here, but a lot of times you'll see them very rounded, and these are not. The more rounded they are, the more they tend to roll. And so these are, they'll roll and they'll bounce, but not quite as much as one that's more rounded. Some people have a different preference. I tend to like the more rounded kind myself. I think they feel a bit nicer. And I like how they kind of tumble a little bit more than something with some more hard edges. Looking at this is just painted inside. It's not, a different plastic color or anything, but it looks like the paint is actually quite good. There's an interesting dimple, and if you see that reflected in the light there, in the middle of the blank, which is kind of interesting. I wonder if they're all like that. I'm not sure. The reds do not have a blank. No, this does not have a dimple. And this one does. So, I don't know if you can see. Yeah, do you see that? So, there's a little indent on some of them. So I don't know how accurate they're going to be then. That's kind of debatable on how consistent they are. Knowing my luck, I'm going to be rolling blinks regardless, so it's whatever. Anyway, these are all very clean. I'm not seeing any bleeding. I'm not seeing any edges that aren't painted. They all seem good to me from what I can tell. They're also custom. That's important to note too. I didn't get Yahtzee dice. They're not just six-sided. They have special symbols on them and kind of customized thematic things, which I always appreciate. Then we got this one, and again, it looks like there's a miss there. Oh man, there's multiple. Yeah, I'm going to be rolling those a lot. Yeah, no, these look good though. I like it. Like I said, all the painting seems to be pretty good. Maybe there's some issues on some of these smaller letters here, or numbers, not letters, but yeah, no, I'm fine with it. These look good. All right, move those to the side. Come back over here, get a little bit of a dent in here, which is interesting because the outside is not dented. This is actually fairly immaculate from what I can tell. Great glue job, by the way, by the looks of it. Yeah, very good glue job. So a lot of times there's a little bit of a snag here, and that can catch, it can collect dust. This is all very nice, actually. Not black on the inside as it need to be, but very good glue job, and it seems thick enough to support its weight for sure. All right, so we got big cards. Oh, look at that, they're about to kiss. We got little cards, little cards, little cards, and some long cards. Let's do these. These are going to be interesting. And then in here, you just have spacers. You can get rid of it. You cannot. Doesn't matter. I'm always kind of curious about this. I feel like, even with the cards and even with the tokens, this could have been a smaller box. A lot of times they'll make it seem larger, right? So you feel better purchasing it. I'm sure, I can't even imagine the development time they put into this, so I'm sure it's worth it. But it probably could have been that big, right? Because the biggest item you have that you can't really change too much is this. And you could have made it a little bit wider and put it like that, or even like that. This is pretty much the size you need it at. The cardboard tokens could have been thicker. I think that would have been fine. So a little fake on the size, which I don't appreciate too much. The main issue I have with that is storage space. I have a lot of board games and I don't want to store a whole bunch. So, or at least I don't want them to take up a ton of space if I can help it. All right, let's look at that. That's here. Now the art style here is quite interesting just because it looks computer graphics, right? So this is like from the game, which is kind of interesting that they went like directly from the game. And no mods. So last I played this, I think I had 44 mods, which isn't actually too much, but for the computer I had at the time, it was pretty much the limit. And that thing looked real nice, better than this. But this layout here is great. Now, if you, this is very, very tiny wording here. Like this is great. I can read all of this really good. This is tiny. I can read it. Just fine. I do have my contact sense. We're good there. But like that, I'm not sure why that, I don't think this needs to be that small. That is very tiny. A lot of symbology here. So you're going to have to learn some symbology. Looks like you have 2 hand slots and a body slot, and then some quick slots for your magic. And that's really it. Then you have your health, your stamina, your magicka, your height, and your cost. The cost is kind of interesting there. I'm not sure exactly how that works here. Then you have a special ability. You have some keywords, which I'm sure will affect different things. Some perks, which I'm sure affect different things. Your race and your path, which I'm also sure affect different things. You also have some symbols up here as well, which I'm sure matter. Now it looks like on the back, the Dragonborn, Champion of Skyrim. This has an asterisk. This one does. Oh, they both do. 5442, 532. So different abilities here. I don't know if it's a level up or what's going on there, but there are 2 sides to that. As far as thickness goes, I'm happy with them. You're not going to be shuffling these or anything. The bigger that it is, the more the thickness matters when it comes to getting flimsy. These are actually quite good cardstock, though. There's not a whole lot of flex to it. I've seen far worse. Also, it feels really nice on the edge, like it's like it feels more like plastic than paper, right? A lot of times you'll get that kind of paper edge where you could tell it's raw cut and then sealed on top. This is sealed all the way around. These are nice quality. I'm happy with those. Quite happy with those. Let's go to the big cards. We'll go big to small. Oh, come on. All right. There we are. Maybe. Oh, no, not quite. Had to get that corner. Okay. All right. Get off me. No matter which side, it's the back. Okay, here we go. So this is just a separator of some kind. Again, with a very small wording, which sometimes there's a lot here, so I guess I can get that. But my goodness. So these are faction monsters, faction beasts, faction Draugr, faction Stormcloaks, Imperial Legion, and Adventurers. So those are your factions. Then you have Imperial Soldiers, you have Stormcloak Soldiers, Skeletons, Draugr, Imperial Mage, Ralof, Draugr Overlord, Havadar, and Ysardol Thricepeer. So you have all the cards for the miniature boxes. That's what that is. Let's look at some equipment. That sounds like fun. Everybody likes equipment. I can guarantee you can craft equipment in this game, because you can craft equipment in Skyrim, and if I know Modiphius's games for the tabletop, it's that they definitely are not just a paper-thin theme. So I'm sure you can do pretty much anything that you would normally do. So here you have just unarmed. Okay, so just gloves, iron daggers, iron greatswords, steel daggers, battle axe, hunting bow, fur armor, Imperial light armor. Looks like these are different costs, probably a faction of some kind or a class. And you have your armor rating, a block rating, wooden shields, staff of flames, minor potion of minor stamina, magicka, magic robes, firebolt, ice spike, lesser ward, a whole bunch of stuff here. Courage, healing hands. Did a lot of healing hands in my playthrough. Seemed like it was forever. Lockpicking, of course. Got a lockpick. So yeah, it's looking good. Almost through with this, and now we get to go to miniatures afterwards. So that'll be fun. Come on. There we go. Gotta really want it. Okay, there's that. Come on, go. Okay, so it looks like we got event cards, quest cards, trap cards, effect cards, master treasure, lots of treasure, and some shouts, some Fusrodas. So here are your shouts. You have some treasure that you can get, which looks fine dwarven swords. Some of these look very nice. Hide armor of dwindling fire, some different potions and rings and whatnot. You're not getting any junk, which is kind of you're not filling up with like cups and bowls and plates. You get disease, potion of strength, bear trap, bone alarm trap, flamethrower trap, some treasure maps, and destroy all traces, blood on the ice. Taking care of business part 2. So there's multi-tiered quests. Yeah, those look good. And again, though, the writing is very small, so you're gonna have to like really get up there to to be able to read that. You're definitely not gonna be reading that across the table. Oh look, this is split for me. That's so nice. How convenient. There we go. That's the cards here. I'm actually impressed with how streamlined this seems to be. There's not a whole bunch of I was expecting a whole bunch of tokens. That's actually kind of nice. So this is more events, more treasure, and more quests. So same as before. I'm not too concerned about showing everything, obviously, but lots of quests. Very impressed with that. That's pretty much what most of these are, events and quests, which is cool. Very much an RPG. Okay, let's go ahead, put this up, and get into the miniatures. All right, so we have some options here. We have Stormcloaks, we have Bleak Falls Borrow, and Imperial Faction. Let's go ahead and start with Imperial Faction and go from there. This is too bad about the boxes, but again, how I was sent this isn't always how it's going to show up on everybody's door, so I wouldn't worry too much about it. That was just an unfortunate situation there. And if I must admit, my cat sat on the box and he's fat, so there is that. Okay. That being said, this is not the fanciest cardboard ever. The cardboard was nicer before. Okay, so this is already feels different from the Fallout Wasteland Warfare. So here's your bases. So that's kind of nice. So first of all, you get some instructions. Very simple instructions, but instructions on each one. They don't look terrible. They are 2-piece on the torso, and you have 2 arms, 2 legs, and a head. It looks like that's pretty much it. Every now and then a shield. But I'm not seeing... This one has a second half of his head as well. Not seeing a whole lot there. There's nothing too advanced. So yeah, right off the bat, these are actually quite, I don't know, I guess pleasant. For a sprue. A lot of times they're not nice and rounded like this. This is kind of nice to have. Looking at this, I want to actually zoom in a little bit. Okay, that way you can see the detail that I'm looking at. And as you can see when it comes to the detail, here's like the shield here, and you can hear that, probably. Very crisp lines. There is wood grain in there. It's very fine though, to the point where I'm not sure a wash will actually get picked up on that. And part of that's, I think, just a scale thing, but the wood grain could have been exaggerated perhaps a little bit there, just to ease in the painting, but otherwise very good. The ridges here look good. Again, very tiny details. All of the lines, you hear that? Very crisp. Very appealing. It just all, I'm not seeing any misprints or anything bad there. Here's the face, and as you can see, you get the nose, you get lips, you get cheekbones, you get eye sockets, you get a chin. Everything you could ask for in a face. I think everybody here is wearing a helmet, so I'll have to open another one to really get hair. All the buckles and latches look good. Again, super fine detail, but yeah, this is very nice. On the bottom of the shoes, I'm not seeing any texture, so I always try to look to see if there's like, you know, essentially tread or anything like that. Now, they are all wearing boots, so that's probably okay in this sense. If I see anything that should have some texture, I'll look at it. But they do have the heel and everything like that nice. So there is definitely a line there for like the heel, which is good to see. The inside of the shield as well, it's textured. That's also nice. I mean, I didn't expect anything different, but every now and then you're surprised with some like blank inside. So that looks good. Sword, nice and straight. Everything's looking great there. Very high quality stuff. Really happy with that. And that's literally like all you get in these miniature things. It's just the miniature. That's all you get. Let's go ahead and set him aside. And let's go ahead and go to the Stormcloaks, and then we'll go to the skeletons, and right afterwards. The plastic wrap is nice. It's your basic plastic wrap, which is not a bad thing at all. Every now and then you'll get like some really thick kind that's like super premium, and I'm not even sure what that gets them, but it is nice in an unboxing. Okay, there we go. So again, get the bases, take a quick look at the instructions. It's very nice of them to add that and label it and all that, which is kind of nice. Here you have the torso and then the bottom half, like the legs and stuff and the waist, as 2 pieces. So a little bit more there, but his head's all in one too. So you know, minus the head. Again, nothing too advanced here. This is probably the hardest part here, is every now and then you'll have with like 2 different arms that you have to attach, and then you have to make the the hands attached for the sword there. Having it all one piece is kind of helpful, but still getting that space in there can sometimes be a bit difficult. What I will point out, and I'll go on and do it on them right now, is the guides. So you can see here, you can see straight through there. You can see the little guide here too. It's pretty foolproof. So a lot of times when you get a, it'll just be flat where the arm goes, and you could kind of adjust it every which way because it's just flat. There's not really anything guiding it. So having these very overt guides are super useful. It also means when you snip it, you want to snip it there, not here. You want that little piece of guide here. So just be careful when you're snipping to keep the guide and snip like right here. That's kind of what you want to do. Looking at this, looking at layered things is always nice, especially when there are different textures. So here you have the padded leather, which is amazing. This looks fantastic. I love the look of that with the ripple here. And then you have this layered over it. You also have these straps here, and the straps are nice and straight. They're not, especially right here, they're not blending in. They're not melting anywhere. This was very well printed and some very nice plastic. Here he's open mouth, which you can see. Here's some hair, so you can see the kind of hair strands there. It looks like it goes soft here. That's because it's going to get cut off by whatever's behind him, which is fine. The fur's good. The claws look good. Honestly, all of this just looks fantastic. Here's another look at some fur, so you can kind of see that. Very well textured fur. Sometimes you'll get fur and it looks like in ZBrush or Blender, whatever it is they're using, they just kind of added like a little scraper and just scraped the plastic. This actually looks molded, which is nice. I like that style of fur. You'll get different styles of fur. And I'll note if there's anything different there. The leather on the quiver is so delicately textured. I don't even know if you can see that. Probably shining in the light there. Again, it's not enough to even show up on, like, with paint after priming and painting it, but by golly, it still looks nice. The chainmail, very, very fine as well. Yeah, this all looks very, very good, though. Love it. Look at that sword. Oh, man, that looks nice. Last one. Let's look at some skeletons. Skeletons and Drog. Let's look at them both. Oh, calm down. All right. Good bases. Take a look at the build. A little bit more advanced. They have shoulder pads here as well, and then feet and legs. It's not, I guess, so much more advanced, but I mean, this one actually, this is probably the most complicated one I've seen so far. Nothing crazy. It's not like it's skated with a monster or anything like that, but not like push fit, super straightforward either. It's kind of in between there. Lots of little skinny legs on this one. So right here, looking at the rib cage, it just looks amazing. That looks fantastic. The muscle here is great. The stitching coming apart there looks awesome. Look at the shield. Wow, that looks good. Here's another skeleton here. You can kind of see the rib. This will just even look good for D&D. I mean, this is be fantastic for D&D. Yeah, this is great. Look at the pelvic there. Really, really good detail. And look how skinny that is. When you do a hard plastic like this, when it's like this kind of hips, really hard plastic, you can get pretty skinny. And the plastic is pretty durable. It gives just enough to make it that way while still kind of staying firm, which is nice. Look at the muscle definition on this. That's great. This is what I'm talking about, where you kind of have to like stick them in there, but they do have the guides, which is helpful to like put them on both sides of the guy here. Yeah, these look good. I'll also say that the connection points where they're at are smart. For the most part, I'm happy with them. And then you get somewhere that's like in the middle, at the front. I'd rather have had it in the back. If you could help it, I think that would have been nice than having it right on this front leg. But for the most part, they're good. Here's kind of a face. You can see that. Of course, it looks great. But you've been seeing great minis this whole time. So, and again, inside is textured. Nice wood texture here. So, yeah, I'm happy with all of this. All looks great. These are going to be great, even in gray, but painted up, they're going to look even better. All right, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to build every single one of these yet. But I mean, I guess we'll see. I love assembly, but it can take a while. What I will do is I will build at least one from each set to kind of show and talk about. What I'll do is I'll put it on the round table that I normally do in a nice light box. You'll see it. It'll look very pretty, and we'll talk again over there. So let's get to it. All right, here's the 3 that I built for you guys, so you can see them just kind of built and put together, and it's kind of a general detail level, especially when they are assembled. Now, I am not the best at assembly, but I think I'm all right. I kind of tried to do a few different ones here, so like a skeleton, and then a more armored guy, and then like the mage chick, and tried to kind of put that together for you. And as you can see, I think they go together quite well. They were fairly easy. The only hard part was actually the skeleton. His arms and how they fit in were a little obtuse, a little odd, but other than that, I think the detail is great. Now, these are smaller miniatures, so they're more D&D style miniatures. I don't know if they're 28 or 30, or I don't think they're even 32. They're a little small, and as a painter, I would prefer them a little bit bigger, but the detail is definitely there, and I think they're looking great either way, so really happy about that. Also, the poses, I think, are actually kind of nice, too. They're just, nobody's just standing there. Even the skeleton looks maybe a little startled there. But, you know, now that I can unsee that, I'm happy with it. The padded armor looks good. Now, anytime, again, you're assembling miniatures, especially 2 halves of a torso like that, you're going to need to do some cleanup. I did not finish cleanup, so they have not been, all their seam lines haven't been trimmed, and I haven't filled anything with putty, but once you do a little bit of putty work, and you prime them and paint them, they're going to look fantastic. You won't ever know that they were even multiple pieces, and I think they'll do quite well. So really happy with the miniatures. The whole thing, everything's nice. Nothing looks bad. And again, I think I really like the poses. I love, for instance, this guy lunging here. It's just a great pose. It's very dynamic. It assumes you're going to base them. I would suggest basing these a little bit so that they have a little bit of a more secure, even if it's just a Citadel texture paint or something like that that you put on the base, so that there's a little bit more connecting the foot. But otherwise, yep, it's looking great. The faces are all good. All the miniature quality is good. There's not really a lot to complain about except the size. I wish it was a little bit bigger. But anyway, guys, that's it for me. I hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you enjoyed the unboxing. I know I'm a little detail-oriented, but hopefully that's appreciated in something like this. If you did like the video, of course, by all means, give it a like. Let me know in the comments below. And if you'd like to see more of this, be sure to subscribe. And if you'd like to see me review the game, let me know. Do comment and tell me that. I would love to hear what you have to say. All right, guys, thanks so much. Talk to you soon.